Good afternoon. I wanted to talk about pollination today. So almost all the trees in my yard are either self-pollinating, that is, they don't need assistance at all, or that they are pollinated by insects. There are some exceptions. There are the anonas that are in my yard that I have to hand pollinate. Although they are technically self-pollinating in a while, we lack the humidity in the valley and also the beetles that pollinate those trees. So you are gonna have a lot better success with hand pollinating these guys. So let's start off with the tree that really just kind of started the whole transformation of my yard. I mean, this is an Etimoya. I'm not 100% sure on what type it is. I'm looking at the fruits and the texture. I'm pretty certain it's probably a Gaffner. But anyhow, many years ago, when we had this planted in the ground, I mean, it did really well. I mean, it just, that basically kicked off a chain of reactions, you know, with me thinking that if these can do it here, what else can I put in the ground? And, you know, here we are, you know, we've got longans here, lychees here, papaya there. I mean, everything is doing pretty good. But I wanted to show you though. So, again, this is an Etimoya tree. If you come closer, you'll see some of the flowers missing a tip or two. That indicates that it's already been pollinated by me at one point, probably last night. So there's a number of flowers on this tree. But anyhow, I wanted to show you. So I've been collecting male flowers from the Etimoya tree here. So I'm going to show you the process of which it takes to pollinate a flower. So I don't know if you can see the content, but it's these little white spectacles, which I've transferred into my handy dandy black brush. So this is a female flower. It's partly open. That's how you know it's a female flower. And literally all you do is just brush off some of the powder substances onto the female flower. Making sure that the brush that you're using is nice and soft. You don't want to puncture the flower. Anyhow, once you transfer the pollen to it, let it go. And I normally mark the flower by taking off one of the tips. So with some luck, you should see flower formations. I don't have any on this particular tree, not yet anyway. It does take maybe a week or so for the flower to actually set. But I've got another one here that I've been heavily pollinating. Just a couple of tips on specifically with the anonas. We're talking the Etimoya, soursop, sugar apples. The more pollens you have on the flower, generally the larger the fruits. And also the location of the flower in proximity to the trunk, that also makes the fruit bigger. For example, this particular flower, it's probably not going to produce a big fruit. However, this flower that's say a lot closer to the trunk will produce a lot bigger fruits. So that's that. There are other trees that are pollinated by insects. Kahara longan, for example. I'm not sure if it stands out, but as you can see, the flowers are loaded with flies. Flies are the primary pollinators of longans. And then there are others that really don't need pollination, don't need insect pollination at all. They are truly self-pollinating. This black diamond wax jamboo here. See that little set of 3 triplet flowers there? Yeah, this guy is strong enough to actually produce us some fruits this year. So yeah, these guys, you technically don't need insects, though it wouldn't hurt. So let's see what else is self-pollinating. Guavas, of course. Guavas are self-pollinating. You really don't need insects. Miracle berries. They are actually pollinated by the wind. So this guy is starting to have some flower formations around each of the branches. But anyhow, once the flower opens up, what I do, I mean, it's right now it's nice and windy. But what I generally do on a calm day is actually just kind of come and shake the branch like this, and hopefully the pollens fall and then fall onto the nearby flowers and pollinate this guy. And in return, you should see something like this. See that little fruit right there? So yeah, this guy is a heavy producer. It's currently bouncing back from the cold. More trees that don't need pollination. White sapote, of course. There's actually a relatively large fruit down here. Yeah, this is a Subel sapote. This guy's got a number of fruits on him. So with the papayas, okay, they are self-pollinating. However, a papaya can, if grown from seed, can give you three types: a male, female, and hermaphrodite. With most papayas that you get from nurseries, they're likely to be a female. I mean, it would be a bummer if you got a male flower. I mean, it looks pretty, but it's not going to ever give you any fruits. So anyhow, yeah, this, I'm sure, I mean, obviously this is a female papaya. So it's got a papaya there. Black sapote, of course. A bunch of flowers. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a wonderful year. I mean, fortunately, the winter this year wasn't so bad. I mean, it's, luckily it had been pretty mild. So the longan back there with a kahala. I've got a Sri Jamboo here, Sri Jamboo longan. This longan is a bit pink on the outside, so that's what makes it unique, but it too is pollinated by flies. Very slow grower. On the opposite end of the spectrum though, in terms of growth, this BQ longan here, it's reaching about 10 foot high now, but there are flower bracts on the top. It is buzzing with fly activities. Gonna come back here a bit. Citrus, it's completely self-pollinating. You do not need insects at all. So yeah, I've got my Annona pollination contraptions here. So once they're ready, I will then be just pollinating the rest. So those two were the Etimoyas. Here are the fourth of Cherimoyas. This is a Booth Cherimoya. The guy behind him is a Dr. White, and just various Cherimoyas. This one, obviously you could tell, this is a Phenodahete Cherimoya. I've already pollinated him, so, well, I guess technically her. So it should be producing some fruits. Special one I want to show you. I'm hoping this female flower is going to open soon, but this is an Alama. So once it opens up, I've got some pollens from my previous male collections on this tree, which I would then be using to pollinate this particular tree. But so there is an exception to the Annonas. There is one particular Annona tree that you do not need to pollinate. This is going to be the red Israel Atamoya. This particular variety of Etimoya is completely self-pollinating. It's fruited last year, and then of course I put it in the ground, so I took out the fruits, but I did not have to pollinate this guy at all. It is fully self-pollinating. On the other end, I want to say this is the Black Diamond Wax Jamboo. The cool thing with wax jamboos, these are flower formations, of course. Once from the stage of a flower to an actual fruit formation, such as these right here, the time frame is very quick. I mean, you're talking 1 month from this to an edible, fully ripened fruit. So yeah, wax jamboos are one of my favorites just because they are such heavy producers. On the extreme side, mamay sapote, if this guy fruits, it's going to hold on to its fruit for at least a year. And a year in the Central Valley, I mean, you go to 4 different seasons. So, which is why it's in a container. More Kahala Longan. Yeah, this guy is also loaded with flowers. Green Diamond Wax Jamboo also. This one hasn't really opened any of its flowers yet, but I'm confident as the temperature warms up that it will start flowering, or to open up its flower anyway. I wanted to show you. So, just a small note on avocados. This particular avocado is a reed avocado. I do have 2 of them. Avocados, they come in 2 types, type A and type B. There is a misconception out there that says you have to have type A and type B in order to produce avocados. You do not. Yes, it will help. I mean, there's been research done that it says if you've got 2 types of avocado, type A and type B, you increase your production by 10-15%. So that helps, but you technically do not need 2 types of avocado. And also, just another tip on avocados. These are pollinated mostly by bees. So here's the thing with that though. Oftentimes, for avocados, bees don't really like avocado flowers when compared to, say, a citrus, where it's a lot sweeter. Avocado flowers have no taste. So oftentimes what people do is actually put something sweet in the water, like the folio spray, for example. In my case, I use molasses and spray it against the flowers. That basically tricks the bees into pollinating it. Mangoes, of course. My previous videos, you've seen me putting fly traps around here and there. This is the end result. Mangoes, although you'll see a lot of bee activity, they are primarily pollinated by flies. In fact, you still see some fly activity up here and there. So when you look at this Lancetilla mango, okay, look at the bracts. Being the size of this particular tree, I know for a fact that there's just no way that this particular tree is going to support that many flowers. So in lieu of me manually removing the flowers, I'm just gonna let the mango do its thing. A tree really will know when to drop fruits if it feels that it can't sustain them. For example, like these right here. These came from these 2 Nam Dok Mai mangoes. Yeah. So yeah, mangoes, very, very productive. So anyhow, yeah, just again, just pollination. I've mentioned some tricks already, but for things that require pollination from insects and flies, just try to get them. For example, in my case, I had the fly traps. In your case, if you don't want that, then I would just throw food scraps here and there, and that in turn hopefully should attract the pollinated insects. In the case of bees, just spray your tree with some molasses infused water, and that should attract the bees. So anyhow, all right. Oh, and one last thing. I'm very proud of this guy. I keep forgetting this. It's just hidden. Manila mango. This guy it's been very, very productive. You know, in the past, I keep saying that the Quezon mango is the world's sweetest. So I was actually mistaken. It's actually the Manila mango. This is the world's sweetest mango. And fortunately for us, this is also the type of mango that does really, really well in the Central Valley. So that's why I've got many of them in the ground. So anyhow, oh, and just one other thing. I keep forgetting these two. Sugar apples, okay? Part of the Annona family. I've got both of these in the ground. One is a red sugar apple. One's a green sugar apple. As you can see, there are some little flowers being formed. My experiment on this was I was going to actually try to cross-pollinate a different species just to see what the results will produce. So very excited to try that this time. But anyhow, yeah, just all right. Have a good afternoon.